Okay,
All
welcome
right.
everyone to the Elevation Call, the first one of December 2020. And we want to welcome all of you, especially those of you maybe that this is your first Elevation Call with Hal and Lisa and uh, Team Unlimited. So
Whoop, whoop.
anyway, glad you're here. So what we generally do on these Sunday nights is we really want to gear this call for training and inspiration, maybe explanation, some time of introducing people. Do you mind turning that dinger off
Yeah, I'll turn the
there?
dinger off.
Thank you.
My dinger's
So,
on.
all right. Anyway, so the elevation call is about helping us build our teams individually, helping you help people build their team, getting started. Elevation is built around the idea that we all need to rise. We need to grow upwards in our numbers, as far as our team numbers, our income numbers, our attitude numbers, our understanding. We're always going upward. We're going upward, growing uh, and elevating ourselves. This whole call started about a little over 3 years ago when Lisa started building a team in Evansville, Indiana. And then it's began to spread out. First, they started in their living room, her living room, and then it got phone call, and then we learned about Zoom, and we've been all over the country with this. And we called it the Jeep call because Jeep is kind of a side name for one of our ranks called Area Ambassador rank. And so it's really the third kind of, or actually fourth recognized associate, which we have a new associate on tonight. And then from associate, which is you're enrolled, you're on auto ship, you've sponsored one person right, one person left, who themselves are on auto ship. There's a few more details, but that's basically it. Then you're building toward the community rank, which is 1,000 business volume based upon your own consumption and your team's consumption of many of these transfer byproducts, CBD, CBG, and all the products that Zillies presently has and will have more of in the future. And then City Ambassador is the first bonus rank where the company pays a bonus to us to give away. We just pay it forward. And so that's City Ambassador with 3,000. But then the Jeep or Area Ambassador is really kind of the target that we really try to help people build toward. One of the best ways to do that is to build a 20 by 20, which is enrolling 20 people right, 20 people left. Stephen Thompson talks about this often. We talk about it. It's what Lisa and I did when we got our business started, and that is bringing 20 people on right and left as quickly as possible. And what will happen is many of those will just be product users, but then a few of those will really begin to build their business. And when they begin to build their business and grow toward their ranks of associate, community ambassador, city ambassador, and then area themselves, then you end up ranking up to higher levels such as regional, national, presidential, and beyond. So that's kind of the basics. We always try to introduce new people or find new people, but also recognize people who are building teams. And so tonight we're going to lead with the top 25 in all of Zalise for recruiting since the 1st of December. We always recognize our team members that are on the top 25 board for this week. So here we are, the 5th of December. And so starting at number 22 from the state of Florida is Karen Ramos. Now, Karen was on last month and last week as well, but she's at number 22. Laura McClendon, the state of Texas, number 21. Dr. Stephen Jenny Todd in Florida at number 20. Then Dr. Balaji is number 15 in New Jersey. Then Lisa Hall is number 10. And there's no telling where Lisa is, but we're going to call Arizona home for her. She's a world traveler. And then Dr. Cynthia Wiggins in Michigan is number 7. And so we have 7 people on the leaderboard right now for the month of December. And the people that are at the top is Kristen and Eric, Kristen Olander in Atlanta. And so
She's number 3.
Number 3 in all of Zalise so far this month. So we want to give them all a Zoom. Congrats. But I think if Kristen's on, we want to ask her and Eric, what the heck's going on? Because I think they've been on the leaderboard before.
But they rocketed.
But they jumped way up to number 3. So let's hear what they did.
Can you guys what the heck, you guys, with all the tie-dye? Tell us what's going on and how did you guys hit number 3?
Well, I think the word is assertive, comes to mind, just got a lot more assertive because with these products and the people and the programs that we have, there's no reason why we can't talk with confidence. And so in some of our daily conversations, I'll just give you kind of a scenario, is I started to ask questions. You know, it could be to someone that I've talked to in the past, it could be a friend, but basically, hey, you know, by the way, can you answer a few questions? And I'll say yes or no. Yes. And I'll say, you know, what kind of supplement are you taking? Are you taking supplements? If so, what? What do you like about them? What results have you seen? Which is a really good one because I had a couple people say, oh, 3 months into taking this collagen, I added the booster and I got results. I'm like, 3 months? I got results in 3 weeks. And they're like, well, how did that happen? I said, you got to take a look at this product. I'm going to send you the clip right now. I sent it off my app. And she's like, count me in, you know, because there is something about sharing those personal testimonies and also taking some of the ones that we learn on these calls. You know, my friend or somebody that I work with just had an experience with that. Can I tell you about it? So it's been opening up those conversations and then asking them where they buy from. And then I asked them if they would, depending on what their answers, you know, we direct the conversation. And then I asked them, you know, can I give you some food for thought? What if you could take the same quality, superior products that we're taking at wholesale pricing and, you know, get gifts that matter? I mean, like in product and things like that. Would you be interested? And lots of times they'll say yes. So we just happen to have some, we got some yeses right away and we got them in the system. We've got a couple in the queue for this week that are already committed verbally. And so as we're going through our list right now, I think our focus this week needs to be going back to some of those conversations, finding out who we might be able to talk to. Like Eric knew somebody who had a pet problem, you know, pet concern. And so I'll let you tell him about that. But, you know, it's just kind of finding their little spot.
Hot buttons.
Some people want to try the CBD and the CBG, and others you can get through the idea of pets, right? Everyone wants to take care of their dog. And so my sign up this week was because I've been talking to somebody over a period of time about our products. And finally, she and a friend were talking about CBD products for their pets. Oh, I know a guy. So letting people know what I'm doing is probably the biggest thing I've done recently, right? I'm really good at keeping what I do a secret. You don't get very far that way. Not in this business.
Your tie dyes, everybody knows you guys do tie dyes.
That's right. Well, the blast outs on Facebook help with some circumstances, and I just happened to get a woman who wanted to try it with her friends. And when I told her about the collagen, she got even more stimulated. And when she found out she could save money by the $49 stimulus package, it was kind of a no-brainer. She realized she'd save over $120 a year if she did the collagen for a year. So that's got her to sign up.
Wow, that's great. So you guys got more aggressive and you just asked more questions. You talked less and listened to more, asked more questions.
That's correct.
I think really our focus right now has been more on kind of the supplementation, because not everybody's taking CBD and CBG. A lot of people are supplementing. So by kind of switching it over and starting the conversation, and it's kind of an assessment, can you answer a few questions for me, and assessing it. And then that gives me something to start a conversation.
So Kristen, are you, you're making those outbound calls then, correct? Or are people calling you?
Both. I mean, we have like with the tie dyes and stuff, people will comment and we'll start some conversations, and I'll say, hey, Deidre, by the way, thank you for supporting us in our tie dyes. We're sending you your shirts. By the way, can you answer a few questions for me? So there is that. And then part of it's just going through my list. I remember someone who was talking about her losing her hair. We were walking one day several months back, and I remember her going like this about her hair. And so I said, Christy, how's your hair these days? I'm wearing it back. It's still thinning. And she was telling me all about it. I said, I got something for you, girl. And so we're doing both. really,
Well,
but I'm starting to, I think, take a kind of a deeper look at my list and feeling more confident about calling the people on my list because I feel like I have, we have something to offer everybody, really. And then, it may or may not be for you. And then I'm trying to remember, like, who do you know? So we got a referral from that question, and she actually signed up and got on 2 CBDs, one for her and her son, 2 CBGs, 2 topicals. And so that was just like, whoop, thank you.
that's
And that was
awesome.
from the referral question.
Well, we're very proud of you guys, and we thank you so much for sharing what's going on and how you're creating this kind of action. Anything
So
else?
one of the things about being in the top 5 on the leaderboard at the first of the month, you really want to stay there.
Yes, yes.
What else? You guys, if you're the top per day, you get what?
$100.
$100
That's right.
every day this month. So you guys keep going, man. We're so proud of y'all, and I was thrilled to see you at number 3 today.
Well,
Keep
thank
it-
you.
all
And I
right.
will say that the collagen, you guys, if you haven't tried it yet, try it, because I'll be 62 this month and I haven't done much skincare, but the hair that's coming in and some of the stuff that I'm feeling, not just on my face, but on my body and my hands and stuff. So maybe I was really collagen thirsty. I don't know, but he noticed.
You know,
and it's big,
I can tell with your hair. I
Your hair
really
looks
can,
beautiful.
even on the Zoom.
Look at you, like,
I need to start some of that collagen.
He's next.
I'm next, but I'm also having great product results with the R&R. I'm finally sleeping through the night, and as some of y'all know, that has been a long time coming.
That's great, Eric. Yeah.
so Eric, how are you taking that?
I take it right before I go to bed, just a couple drops under the tongue, hold it like normal. And what I found is it doesn't get me to sleep real quick, but I've stayed asleep.
Okay.
And if I do happen to wake up, I get back to sleep.
Have you used Ultra Dream at all?
I have not had much success with Dream personally.
Well, that's good to know. Kristen?
I do like the dream because I can stay asleep. It's just getting to sleep.
Gotcha.
So that helps me.
I think
Although I've tried the R&R just a little bit, and I think that, I woke up just feeling a little bit better. But I'm happy right now with just the dream for me.
Hey, Lisa, as a dentist that treats sleep, what I would recommend is doing a couple drops of the Dream, probably about 30 minutes before bed, and then do the R&R right before bed.
Right.
awesome.
See how that works for getting to sleep, and then, like you said, staying asleep. Okay, and then give us feedback, because that's kind of the regimen I'm putting my sleep apnea patients on.
So say it again, one more time. What is your regimen?
So do a couple drops, 2 to 3 drops of the Dream about 30 minutes before, and then do your R&R 2 to 3 drops right before
Okay.
you go to bed. Yeah, almost one bedside, one in the bathroom type thing.
Right.
You know, I'm a visual, so that's what and try that literally between the two of you and see, and then give us feedback, because that's what I'm doing with my sleep apnea patients, and then I'm reaching out and getting feedback.
Sounds
Fantastic.
good.
Free medical advice. Is anybody interested? Yes. Awesome. Thank you very much, Dr. Welch, for sharing that with us. And Kristen and Eric, thank you. And we're super proud of you guys. So thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
And one of the things, you guys, that we really look forward to this call is because it gives us an opportunity to really share from the heart about what we're doing and how we're doing it. And I think it can be very overwhelming to start in this business and, try to wrap your mind around ranks and volume. And so just to kind of break it down a little bit, what we are doing is creating distribution for cannabinoid products with a very unique technology called Ultracell. And these products are from the hemp plant. So it's a completely new industry. This will only happen once globally. And that's kind of what I love about this is, it's going to take us 10 to 15 years to be able to fully populate distribution for these products. And because of the way that our business is structured, all we're doing is creating 2 teams with these very highly consumable products. And because they're consumable, people use them over and over again every single month. It's repeat usage called auto ship. Most important thing about this business is the repeat consumption. The most important thing is 100 BV and an auto ship. BV, what is BV, Hal?
Business volume.
And it's an internal currency that we use to kind of, it's universal. It's in every single country. BV is a unit of measuring our volume.
And that BV is used by Zalise Accounting to pay us in different ways. And it's used as a measuring accounting, I guess, internal accounting that helps us with rank. It helps us with bonuses. It helps with everything. And so the breakdown of it is fairly consistent, you might say. If you buy products at a discount, you're going to get less BV when you buy it at a discount. It's not the dollar spent at full wholesale, you might say, as opposed to cases. The BV for that is a little less. But the point is that auto ship is the most consistent way for you to generate for yourself and for everyone on your team, getting them established and paying attention to an effective use of auto ship. Just making a commitment each month. This is how much product I need. This is how much I'm going to consume. On top of that, this is how much I want to order to move into my community or as a part of my business. And so
100 BV is the critical component of the every month ordering that we do. The reason why is because at 100 BV, you're storing points in the binary. We'll talk more about that another time. You're also maximizing the reward points. You're maximizing the reward gifts every single month and every single quarter. And so 100 BV is really important. One of the things that I've got to do this month is I need to go through and look at everyone who's consuming in my organization and see who's less than 100 BV. Because if you can just get people to go from 70 to 100 BV, extra 30 BV, that grows your total volume. And so really, really important. You want to start with your own usage and you are duplicating that. That's what we do in creating this whole consumable distribution channel. And so we start with ourselves. We share this with friends, family, in our own backyard. And then we build two teams of people that are doing the exact same thing. And the reason Hal talked about, that 20 by 20, we start with one on the right, one on the left. We start literally with two people doing the exact same thing that we're doing. To be active is you just need 50 BV, but I try to encourage everyone to do 100 BV. What is 100 BV? Let me tell you what my ideal for 100 BV is: a 15 milliliter ultra cell, a 15 milliliter CBG, and then a mini topical. That's 100 BV right there. So it's just, there's a lot of ways you can actually do 100 BV, but that's one that makes it very easy from the very beginning. So one on the right, one on the left, and then 4 on the right, 4 on the left, 20 on the right, 20 on the left. 40 people total is magic.
Can I say something about that? Absolutely. CBD and CBG. So back a year ago, the company came out with what was called a system, a combo pack of CBD and CBG. Now, when you bought it that way in the system, there was a little bit of a discount. It cost a little less dollar-wise for you to buy that up front, the CBD, CBG system. Well, when they came out with the Star Rewards, because it's already discounted, when you order on AutoShip or order altogether at any point, the system of the 15 mils, you do not get the AutoShip points. Okay. Plus it's less BV than if you buy them separately. So what we encourage for the duplicatable model is that everyone kind of forget that there is a system. Okay. A system pack. Kind of forget that. It's not promoted by the company. It is still available, but it does not help you with your Star Rewards. It reduces your BV, which ultimately is your biggest payout over time. And if you duplicate buying the system, you're actually duplicating lowering your team BV. But
Let me say another thing about that, which not everybody knows. If you're getting discounted products so that your total value of undiscounted products is less than 50 BV, it wipes out all your points. So I just have deleted the Ultra System Pack from my knowledge base. We just use completely unbundled products.
Now that's not a trick. It's not something that Zalise tried to trick us with. It just, being a new company coming out with new ideas and progressive marketing and so forth with new products. I honestly think that they just kind of didn't think that fully through before they launched that whole package.
Right,
but now it's kind of being corrected, and it's up to us to communicate it.
So 2 things. I posted a Tim Sales video on Team Unlimited, and it's kind of hard to see. It just says YouTube, but you guys, it's 20 minutes. Really watch it. It's really about the objection of not having time to build this business. But when you watch it, you'll see that we've got the rest of our lives to do this. And if it takes you 20 years to find the right person, it's still worth it. Because what I want to do is share with you guys just a couple of stories from my team personally, because what we all do is build our own team. And then we have the privilege of helping you build your team, and they all overlap. But what I want to share is just kind of the power of building a team, the power of sharing. And I want to invite a couple people to share with you guys. Some of you might have heard their stories, and some of you guys might have not. But this is the kind of story that literally inspires me on a daily basis, that really makes me want to get out of bed in the morning. No, we're starting with Lisa. So let me just, first of all, I want to introduce you guys to Lisa Hall, otherwise known as Lisa Moore. She's a former emergency room doctor, and I've been in awe of Lisa because I was parallel to her in another business in another lifetime. And she went to the very top of the compensation plan. She's one of the hardest working, most genuinely loving and sharing of her education with other people. And I want to bring her to the line because I want you guys to really hear her story. Because she actually, the first thing she said to me, which was about maybe 2 years ago, don't try to recruit me, Lisa, but can you tell me about your CBD? And so Lisa, with that, can I bring you on and have you unmute?
Yeah, I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm so glad you're stationary with a signal.
Some days that's okay. Well, thank you. That was very nice introduction. I appreciate it.
Well, I want you to kind of tell your story, Lisa. Take it from there. You told me not to recruit you, and I was like, girl, I don't think I'm good enough to recruit you because you were one of those people kind of chickenless for me. But I want you just to kind of tell just, a little bit about your background and why Zalise for you.
Okay, well, I think a few of you might have heard it before. I think I've told it once before, but for anyone that's new, welcome to the team. And I hope that that my history might incentivize some of you to talk to people that you might not otherwise talk to. So like Lisa said, we met in a different company. I was an emergency room physician at the time, working 80 hours a week in the ER. I'd been there for 33 years and taking care of my elderly parents at the time. Both of them living with me because my father had dementia. And Lisa and I were put on several committees together, even though I was from California and she was from Indiana. And that's how we happened to meet. We would do medical meetings for some of the products, nutritional supplements, things like that. And we met that way and we were friends and we, went on working from that company. I actually stopped working in the company because I was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, stage 4, in July of 2012. And was diagnosed at Stanford. And excuse me for getting a little bit emotional, so I still have trouble telling this story sometimes. And from Stanford, they sent me to Mayo Clinic and they sent me to MD Anderson. And basically, they all told me I had about 90 days to live. I was 52 years old. I have 2 kids, and I was expecting my first grandbaby in about 6 months. And at first, I kind of gave up because, unfortunately, the way Western medicine works, they kind of take all your hope away. and they just tell you there's nothing they can do, and you better just get prepared. But luckily, and I say that now because I didn't really used to think this way, but my kids went into medicine too. My son's a doctor and my daughter's a physician assistant. And they said, it's okay, Mom, if you don't want to go through chemo and everything, because I had done that once before. This is my second bout with cancer. And, but, at least let's get you feeling better, because I was so terribly ill. And so from that, we started looking into alternative products. And I was able to find a lot of information in alternative medicine. And because I'd been in that other company and understood a lot of what I call Eastern medicine now, it was a lot easier to look and find things. So I was very, very lucky in that I found something that worked for me. And it's been 8.5 years. I'm at this time, I have no active cancer in my body. I do have leftover what's called sterile tumors. And I unfortunately have some complications from some of that treatment, but it really doesn't matter because I'm alive. And I now have 3 grandbabies, and I've gotten eight more years to spend with my family. But how I happened to get back in cahoots with Lisa, I guess you'd call it, is I was... one of the side effects of my treatment was that it just destroyed my bone marrow. And so I was receiving transfusions every single week. I had no immune system at all. And it was the entire system. I didn't have any cells of my own. I wasn't making any cells of my own. And I've been getting transfusions every week for a couple of years. And I was continuing to have constant reactions to the blood, because once you take blood transfusions over and over and over, your body starts to build up against the antibodies, and you get antigens, and becomes harder and harder. So I knew I was getting toward the end of my rope, and my mom was 87 years old, and I was caring for her, and I just didn't want to leave. And I kept asking the Lord to help me find an answer. And one day, just by chance, I was researching some articles, and I ran across an article in Germany that discussed bone marrow regeneration and CBD. I had never heard of that before. I knew what CBD was, of course, and knew a lot about it, but I hadn't ever tried it myself. But when I heard that, I thought, I'm going to do some research. So the next thing I did is I started researching in the US to see what would be the best CBD oil to use, as far as from a medical standpoint, not advertisement, but actual from medical journal articles and research. And I came across the name of Zolease. And when I did, it kind of clicked in my brain, and I went, isn't that something Lisa Bell was advertising on her Facebook? And I was pretty desperate that summer. And I knew the first thing would happen, is because this does happen in network marketing, and it's okay. But I thought I just have to tell her up front that I'm not in a position right now to do any business. I was taking care of my mom. My mom was 85. We had just sold our home and moved into an RV, and we're traveling the US. And so I called her, and I just told her that very clearly. I said, I'm not looking for a business or anything. I'm looking for a product. And so she told me a little bit about CBD, and I went on CBD in July of 2018. And sorry, my puppy's trying to get in the middle of this. He's squeaking. So anyway, I started it in 2018, and Lisa and I, didn't really keep in contact through that time. My mother was becoming more and more ill, and I was dealing with that and some other issues. But what happened for me basically is I went from having transfusions every week to it being every month, and then from every month to it being a few months. And currently right now, I've had no blood transfusions since January of this year. I did have to have a platelet transfusion last weekend, but for to only have had one transfusion this year, when before I was having them every week, is absolutely amazing. And you can't believe how that will change your life. Because before I was tied to hospitals, and not only that, but I lost my insurance when I had cancer, because when Obamacare came in, it allowed Blue Cross to cancel my 40-year insurance that I had a year into my cancer treatment. So I had been paying cash for all my therapy, every single thing I've had done for the last 8 years. And a blood transfusion just by itself in a standing facility is over $6,000. So if you can imagine the difference that Lisa and Zolease and CBD has made in my life, it's been absolutely amazing. And one of my big, goals was I really wanted to tell Stephen Thompson what he had done for me. And I got to do that in Arkansas at one of the meetings, and that meant a lot to me. But I've also started using the CBG, and have been just seeing amazing results with the new products. like everyone else has. And the doctor told me about a month ago that he's never seen my counts as high as they are right now, as far as my, blood work. So that's basically what's happened. And, everybody's life changes. And I tell people this because the first time I was recruited, I was an emergency room physician making $350,000 a year. And I don't say that to brag. I tell you that nobody knew. The person that recruited me he owned a lawn mowing company. And he didn't know that the truth was I needed to be home and caring for my parents and not gone to the ER all the time. And so when he offered me an option of something else that I could do from home and make the same amount of money, which I did get to that amount of money in the other company, it offered an opening for me that was amazing. And that's what this has done this time also. The reason I'm here and actually recruited now, and I did, Lisa didn't recruit me, I came to her, is because the government told everyone this year that they didn't have to pay the rent. And my income comes from rental property. I've owned apartments since I was in my 20s. And all of a sudden people don't have to pay their rent and they can't be evicted. So I'm back working the program, but I believe it's probably destiny because I can help so many people and have already in just this 3 short months I've been back with Zalise working. So thank you, Lisa, for bringing all these gifts to my life.
Lisa, it just brings tears to my eyes to hear your story. And I know that everybody's very touched by that. And I know you're also paying it forward. So tell everybody what happened this week.
Well, so with the previous companies that I worked with, I had done a lot of mission work as a physician outside the country. And back in the 80s, I had went to Colombia to do mission work. And I had fallen in love with the people of Colombia. They're just amazing people. And I've been to 190 countries. So that's saying a lot when you fall in love with one country. But I had went to Colombia and done some work with another company back in 2018. And I met an amazing young man that just, he and his family's story and their heart and the way they treated people. It was just quite amazing. And we worked together with another company. That company had some problems with the government in Colombia that caused us to back out. And then my mother was becoming more ill. So it's been really amazing that after 4 years, I've been able to invite Sebastian back into Zalise with me as we open Colombia. And he's on the call tonight, and I'd love for everybody to get to know him. He's a very hard-yielding working man, and he's had quite an amazing family history, and he helps care for his mother who has Alzheimer's. So I am really excited to have him here with me and to hope that we can make some huge changes for the people of Colombia because they are lovely people and they deserve it.
Awesome. Sebastian, are you there?
How are you?
Hey, Sebastian.
We're good. Welcome to our very first Elevation Call, Sebastian. We're very excited to have you on our team. Just say hello and tell us what you're excited about.
Hello. I was very touched with Lisa saying all that stuff here. She has been like a mother to me since I met her. I went to Las Vegas with her, to different places here in Colombia. So we have spent many different good moments with her. I haven't practiced my English in a long time, so I apologize for that.
It sounds great.
I'm very happy with this network. I think this is going to be something big here in this country because of all our history with marijuana. And this is something that's going to change like the view.
Awesome.
I think Sebastian was the first. We don't know for sure, but I think he was the first person to enroll period in Colombia. Well, we don't know that for sure, but most likely, certainly in the top.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So we're pretty excited.
Wonderful.
About that. And of course, we didn't know Sebastian, but we knew somebody who knew Sebastian.
Absolutely.
So,
Sebastian,
that's how it
welcome
works.
to our team. Thank you for being on our Elevation Call, and big hugs to you. This is like a family, and we're going to learn.
Thank you, Lisa.
So thank you
so much.
And Lisa, thank you so much for sharing from your heart. I appreciate so much you sharing your story, because all of us have the power to impact lives, and we have no idea the impact that people can make by reaching out. Like Kristen was talking about, picking up the phone, using social media to reach people to share this gift of health. And so thank you to Sebastian and Lisa for sharing.
Very good. Thank you both.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome. And then also I want to bring Susan Everett to the line, because again, this is my team. Lisa is on my first level, which means that we personally sponsored Lisa. And Susan Everett is another person that is on my team. That means I personally sponsored her. And Susan was another chicken list. She had actually found me on social media, and I'll let her tell a little bit more about that. But Susan has a corporate background. She's been very, very successful in her career in IT. And so she was somebody that I used kind of a secondhand approach. I said, Susan, if you're ever in front of somebody in corporate America who's sick and tired of having just to be in corporate America and they're looking for additional income with benefits, would you send them my way? And Susan, are you there? Can you unmute?
Yeah, I'm here.
There you are with Carol. So I'm going to let you take it from there. I want you to tell us just a little bit about your story, Susan, and introduce Carol to us.
Okay. Lisa's right. She said that to me. And actually, when she first said it, I thought, yeah, right. She's really asking me. And but little did she know I was really very interested. I mean, it's just, I was looking for a different, I had actually had the job that I loved, and that company got bought out, and then my job got changed, and they offered me what I thought was my job of my dreams. But I didn't like the company anymore. The company that bought the company that I was working for, I didn't like them. And so I felt really lost. And when I started talking to Lisa about this a little bit, I thought, well, maybe I can do that. And so I was naive about how hard it would be to go from a corporate world to coming to something like this. And I've struggled with it a lot. I think I mentioned that one time not too long ago, but it was awesome. But I really don't believe it was me, the reason that I came to this, because I had like a minor muscle issue. And that's what I reached out to Lisa, because I had tried a lot of things to fix it and some muscle cramping, and nothing helped. And so I reached out to Lisa. We did a drug deal in the parking lot at work, and I tried it, and it worked immediately. And I thought, well, this is pretty cool. But what I really did that's important is that I came home to a friend of mine and said, hey, maybe I ought to try this. Mm-hmm. And so she had, well, maybe I'll just turn it over to you. I'll let you talk. You tell your story from that.
Nice intro. Thank you. Well, I'm Carol, and I have Parkinson's, and they call Parkinson's the snowflake disease, because no two people are alike. Everybody has different symptoms. So, Angela, if you're not listening, if you're listening, this list of symptoms that I have, I'm sure, are probably vary from yours. I was diagnosed in 2016, and I was at that point in time referred to a neurologist. We find that, since the symptoms are so wide and so varied, so are the therapies, you would think. But there's a very, very short list of therapies available. So I was referred to the neurologist, and he had prescribed a standard dose medication. And that was the full extent of what he was able to do for me. As it turned out, we, ended the patient-physician relationship early. So exercise is at the top of the list as far as things to do. And then there's the standard medication. And then there are other things that they can do for you. But, they're so limited in terms of being able to help their patients in this situation. So he prescribed the standard dose, like I said, and at first I experienced a relatively slow progression of symptoms until the spring of 2019. At that point in time, I experienced a fairly rapid decline, and within 90 days, I was essentially disabled. I lost 30 pounds. I was down to 98 pounds total. I experienced painful inflammation. I had insomnia. It kept me up most of the night, every night. I did not have the strength to get in or out of a bed or a chair. I had restless leg syndrome. It was combined with leg and body cramps. It left me unable to ride in a car for more than a few minutes. We couldn't go places for any length of time. The neurologist gave me 2 years to live unless I could turn the situation around. So in other words, there was nothing more that he could do. So at that point, I was praying for a miracle. And God gave me Zalise, because it really was a true miracle for me. It took 60 days or so, but things began to turn around after beginning a regimen of CBD and CBG. And thanks to Zalise and to my Zalise ambassador, Susie, I had some specific things I had that happened that are related specifically to the products. I took ice. It reduced the inflammation that I was experiencing and ended my daily dependence on Advil. I took Dream. It eliminated the sleepless nights that I talked about. I took Edge, which restored much of the energy that I had lost and still does. I've gained 20 pounds. I can drive a car. I can walk a mile. I can visit with friends, which was something I could not do. I have my life back. So, you know, what value is that to a person? There's just no describing that. And so they may tell you that there's nothing that you can do, but boy, there is something that can be done.
Awesome. So one of the reasons why, you know, I made the comment that I felt like, you know, God took me to Zalise, but I felt like it was really more for Carol than it was for me personally, even though, you know, I love the opportunity at sharing this with more people, but she's not understating the problems at all. Matter of fact, it was when I went to the fall conference where CBG came out, I came home and I walked in the door and I said, open up your mouth, you need to try this. And I basically just started dosing her at that point, you know, that was like, kind of like, what? And that was it. And so after that, from one of the great examples that I like to show people just to kind of help them understand the difference. My sister, we had a birthday party for my sister at the 1st of August of that year. And Carol could not sit still. She couldn't get up and out of a chair by herself. She couldn't do any of that. So my family, we all met at a restaurant, and my family would take turns walking Carol. And so she would sit down and take a couple of bites, and then my brother would get up and walk her out of the restaurant around the parking lot and come back. And she'd come and she'd eat 2 or 3 more bites. And then I'd get up and I'd walk her around. And so that's what life was at the beginning of August for her, trying to just be social. At the beginning of January, my brother's birthday, we went back to the same restaurant. Carol sat through the entire meal, visited with everybody. I mean, that's just a short time period and the only difference that she made was the CBG and the CBD and then the other products that she talked about. My family was freaking out. They're like looking at her like, what have you done? It was awesome.
Was that the same January that we had the Christmas party in Evansville, like a couple of weeks before, and she was line dancing?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You know, for me, because we're not there all the time, we had been with the 2 of you at your home, Susan, and Carol set out, I want to say maybe October-ish. No, it was maybe before that. Anyway,
July or something.
Yeah, and your back deck. And, you know, we didn't know Carol that well, but I told Lisa, I said, Carol is not doing well. I mean, she was really weak, couldn't stand up by herself, even walking. She couldn't turn herself to the right or to the left. She would take a few steps, you know, and just keep going straight. And her mind would say go right and her body wouldn't go, you know, and that's just one of the symptoms. So here we then see her at the Christmas party in Evansville, a few months later, after adding CBG to the regimen, and literally I'm line dancing with everybody, and I turn around and behind me is Carol line dancing, and I'm like, I got to get a video of this. And so I took a video of all of us line dancing, and there's Carol right in the middle of all of us line dancing, and doing it well.
That was what my question was going to be. Carol, are you going to show us how you line dance?
Oh, another time. How's that?
Well, I want to get her on the golf course is what I want to do.
Well, listen, to both of you guys, just thank you, Carol. That was just a beautiful story. You're so eloquent and fun, and I just can't tell you what a blessing it is to hear about the changes in your life.
I think over 2 years, honestly, I've heard a lot of stories, and they're all wonderful. But when you said, I was praying for a miracle and God gave me Zalise, it's that simple for some people. And there's no way to say it better than that. Is I needed a miracle, and God gave me Zalise and gave it to you through Susan, who I remember when you got that drug deal. I was with Lisa, I think, in the parking lot, and sat there in the car on a rainy day, and you came out from your corporate office and met us in the parking lot. And that's how and why we do what we do. So.
And so, Susan, here's my question to you. Have you talked to a few people who said no to you?
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. And so have I before I met you. But when I look at Carol and I hear her story, I don't remember who said no to me, and I really don't care. And I think that's what is so important is thank you guys for sharing your story, because with hearing Lisa and hearing Carol and seeing Sebastian, we know that this is something that can help the masses. And we have to get better at communicating the message. It's one of the reasons I'm so proud of Kristen, is that, Kristen is on every single call that we do. She's been on every opportunity call, and she's not been on number 3 on the leaderboard yet. Mm-hmm. But she never, ever stopped trying to get better at communicating. Kristen, am I correct in that? Yes.
I would agree with that. And Hal, I think you once said it, is that, you have to grow personally in this business. I mean, it's just a business that's going to stretch and grow you. And I didn't really take that seriously, but especially in watching the two of you. And then, Lisa's given me just so much insight, I think, into myself and what I needed to do too, just in general conversations. So thank you. We are persisting. We've had some highs and lows, but I believe in this so much. There's no turning back for me. I think we were looking for a miracle, and this is it. It's not as dramatic as some of the stories we've heard, but what it has brought to our lives is so enriching in so many different areas. I could
and you, because you have Angela Noble, you've done coaching with Angela Noble. Susan Everett has done coaching with me. Lisa Hall, we were meeting on Sunday night. So you guys, this is a business that none of us really come out of the womb knowing how to do. And so what I love is that the people who are sharing these stories have just said, you know what, I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to learn and I'm going to get better.
Yeah. And you guys doing this as a couple now more than you ever have. And which is awesome. And that was a kind of a decision that y'all had to make together. 16, 17, 18 months ago, somewhere we sat down via Zoom. So it had to be after January of 2 years ago. But anyway, we sat down together through Zoom and we had conversation. What do you guys want? Do you want to do this together? And I think through time, both of you have decided to make personal growth a priority in your lives and to make some changes and to let go of some of the fears and the personal challenges, you turning obstacles into opportunities, and just those basic things, which both of you have done. And I'll say this to everyone on this call, and there's still over 50 people on the call. These last few months, as we all know, for all of us, have been huge challenges. And it wasn't like some of us didn't come in with challenges in the first place, but you have made it. I believe you've made it through. Those days are probably not over, the challenges of this thing. But those of us who have been resilient will continue to be. We will have learned from it. We'll be stronger. We still have decisions to make, but it's an opportunity for us to continue to let go of things that hinder us. Mostly happens right here, in between our ears for most of us. Some of us do have physical challenges and time challenges and life challenges. But really every one of those in many ways can be overcome, or at least progress can be made with how we think, what we say, and growing in that area. So you guys have done that. So
if you're new on this call, if you're taking notes, you guys, you are going to find your 20 by 20. You just will. And it's going to be consumers, people who are just using product. Every single person on our team who has persisted, like Kristen and Eric, like Susan and Carol, like Lisa. Lisa's newer to the team, but when they have spent time finding 1 by 1, 4 by 4, 20 by 20, some magical things happen. And I want to ask Linda and Jim Ferguson what those things are. Linda and Jim, are you guys there? And I'm putting them on the spot completely.
yeah.
Okay, we're here.
Say that again, Lisa.
When you sponsor 20 on the right and 20 on the left,
What can happen?
Well, talk about miracles. I mean, that the work is not necessarily the miracle. You've got to do the work. But once you do the work, you will unfold a team of people. And many of them will be just product users. I tell people all the time, about 60 to 70% of the people that you bring into your team are just going to want to use these amazing products and be excited about that. And so when you put 20 on one side and 20 on the other, it starts with you first using the product. And then secondly, enrolling a team starts with 2 people. And from that, you do what's called a 4 by 4. And it just begins to unfold. It just begins to unfold. But it starts first with you just making a commitment to your dream, what you're wanting, the things that you see for yourself. And I think it all starts with the product. That's how it started with Jimmy.
Well, and the thing too is that when you put in a 2020, you put the numbers in your favor, because we all know that some will do it, but some won't. But somewhere, some will, right? And so the thing is that you put the numbers in your favor, that you're going to find somebody on your team that sees it just like you see it. Our whole challenge in life, I think, for all of us, is to get people to see what we've seen and hear what we've heard from the people that we've heard it from, in the manner that we've heard it. If we can get them to do that and get the vision that we have captured, that you won, and if you can just get them there, and you can try to tell some people about it, and they just don't want to hear. They don't have time to hear. They don't want to hear. They're just happy as pigs in mud, and you know what? Pigs don't know pigs stink, and the bottom line is that if you do that 2020, you're going to put the numbers in your favor, and you're going to turn around and you're going to have a team of people that you didn't know, that you had no idea where they came from, and you're going to develop friends and relationships with people across the country and around the world that you had no concept of. But it all started with, just like Linda said, the action mode of you going out and sharing your results, your response, and if you don't have your results or your response yet, you just heard some fantastic stories here tonight. Share those stories with somebody.
and then you're going to occasionally entice your brother to join your team, and you'll see how really, really deep, and how like Steve and Jenny Todd have just built a dynamic, very, very deep team. And you never know, but when you do the 20 by 20, you're going to find somebody that will take off.
That's right. That's right. And not only Steve, but Steve has been bringing on, some sharp people in his organs all since day one. some very, very sharp people in his organization. And now, we have, I see Susan and Christine sitting there.
It does our hearts so well to see all these wonderful people that we did not know.
Yeah.
And through
the Perellas and Balaji and Thelma Champion,
just
and
all of them.
Yeah, all of them. That many are on this call tonight, and you talk about depth in your organization. When your organization gets 100 levels deep, guys, that's called stability. And let me give you an analogy: a canoe or a kayak is not very stable. They can flip over, right? Because they're very, very shallow. And so they're not stable. But if you put a keel like a sailboat that's very, very deep, guess what? It's going to be very stable. That thing's not flipping over very easily. And so that's what that stability of the depth of your organization will do. It will give you stability and volume every single month.
Just open doors, guys. Open doors. Open your heart to open up doors for other people. That's what it is. Share the product, share your experience, open doors. And, you can't pull people through doors. They've got to turn the knob and open up the door themselves. But, that's the whole thing. You're just open up doors. You're a conduit for other people to experience this amazing product and this amazing opportunity. Thank you, guys. And thank you, Hal and Lisa, for opening the door. Please, thank you so much.
For saying yes.
Hey, you guys, thank you for sharing that. And it's an honor. We try to keep this at an hour. And so I want to just make a couple of announcements. Did you want to add something?
Well, I just wanted to shout out to a couple of people that Laura Curdy's on the call tonight. Laura she's been on our calls and so forth, but she's a leader in Michigan. She's had some back issues from the fall, and hopefully she's coming back. And then also I noticed with Susan Wells, which her sister, Christine was on and been on the call, and just wanted to give a shout out to Christine being on this call tonight. And so anyway.
And then you guys, just so everyone knows, power training. If you want to dive into the business of how this works, Stephen Thompson himself is doing the power training this Saturday. It's from 10 a.m. Central to 1 p.m. Central. So that's 11 to 2 Eastern. So just make sure that it's a free training. Get registered for that.
It's online.
We're actually, Hal and I are doing a business overview 8 o'clock Central on Tuesday.
For the national call Tuesday night. So it is on the Zalise webinar site.
Linda and Jim did an amazing plan on Friday night, 7 o'clock. Linda, will you guys do that this week? Okay, so 7 o'clock Friday night on Team Unlimited. Linda and Jim do an amazing job.
Two of the best presenters in all of Zalise.
Amazing, way better than I am by far. And then January 9th, there's a launch. You guys, brand new product line. Just make sure that you get registered. It's free, but that's going to be an awesome opportunity to launch your business.
And next Sunday night, Lisa and I will have some pictures for y'all to show you some stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We have some special pictures.
Some special pictures. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop the recording, and then I'm going to open up the line. If anyone wants to share, any of our new ambassadors want to say hello, we're going to open this up and let you guys ask any questions.
Oh, by the way, if anybody wants a copy of this, let us know.